It was a beautiful day on the island of Sodor. And it was Lady Hat's birthday. She was having a special party. There were cakes and balloons and even a merry-go-round. But most exciting of all was the brass band. It was coming from the mainland to play at the party. Sir Topham Hatt came to Tidmouth Sheds. It was winter. A thick blanket of snow lay over the island of Sodor. All the engines were busy carrying passengers and goods from station to station. Sometimes they need to warn people they are coming. It was a busy, bustling day on the island of Sodor. All over the island, steam engines and diesel engines were happily working together. Sir Topham Hatt came to see Thomas. It was summertime on the island of Sodor. Gordon pulled the passenger express. It was very busy, but Gordon loved the hustle and bustle. Henry hauled freight cars in the forest. He loved the peace and quiet, but he didn't see many people. Sometimes working in the forest could be very lonely. It was a glorious summer day on the island of Sodor. Toby was collecting milk from the dairy. James was pulling passengers to Brendam docks. And Thomas was taking some workmen to work. They were building a new station. Every day, Thomas had to take the workmen there and bring them home again. Winter was coming to the island of Sodor. The morning ground was covered in crisp white frost. Thomas and Emily were happily chuffing up and down the line. Thomas was enjoying pulling Annie and Clarabelle. He thought he was doing a grand job. But Emily had other ideas. She thought he could be doing an even grander job. So Emily decided to help Thomas by telling him what he was doing wrong. It was cold and snowy on the island of Sodor, but everyone was jolly. The winter holidays were coming. Thomas loved this time of year. The station masters decorated the stations. And children were making snowmen. But there was one thing Thomas didn't like about winter. There was always lots and lots of snow. It piled up very quickly and blocked the tracks. So Thomas worked hard all day, keeping the lines open. Thanks to Thomas, everything ran on time. All the engines were very pleased. They wanted to thank Thomas for all his hard work. It was summertime on the island of Sodor. All the engines were very busy. They carried freight and passengers up and down the lines. Sir Topham Hatt came to see Emily. All the engines on the island of Sodor look forward to Harvest Festival time. But most of all, they look forward to Sir Topham Hatt's Harvest Firework Display. Sir Topham Hatt came to see Thomas and James. It was cold and snowy on the island of Sodor. The village children had built a snow engine. They were excited. The winter holidays were here. People were coming from far and wide to visit the island. This year, there was even more snow than usual. It covered the island and blocked the roads. Bertie the bus couldn't take any passengers. It was a busy time on the island of Sodor. The railway inspector was coming. The signals were checked. Platforms were scrubbed. Everyone wanted the railway to look its best. It was a glorious day on the island of Sodor. Villagers, children, even Sir Topham Hatt was excited. The circus was coming. The engines were thrilled. They loved the circus too. Percy loved the horses. James loved the clowns. Children gathered on the bridges. They were waiting to see the circus pass by. Thomas became more and more excited. Everyone wanted to collect the circus from Brendam Docks. It had been a stormy night on the island of Sodor. Telegraph poles had blown down. Tiles had blown off the station roofs. And branches had fallen onto the lines. All over the island, the storm had made a terrible mess. It was full steam ahead on the island of Sodor. All the engines were running on time. They wanted to finish their work quickly because tonight was Halloween. The engines loved seeing the children in their Halloween costumes. And the engines loved to hear tales of ghostly engines and scary steam trains. It was a crisp, cold winter day on the island of Sodor. Snow lay thick on the ground. The engines were working extra hard. James was pulling the slow goods train. He had stopped at a signal. Percy pulled up alongside carrying the mail. It was a cool summer's night on the island of Sodor. All of the engines were very busy and there were lots of jobs to do. Gordon pulled the express and Percy took the mail. He delivered letters and parcels across the whole island. Thomas was delivering coal to the coaling plant. It was a very long journey and a very heavy train. Thomas worked all night puffing through the countryside. At last, Thomas had delivered all the coal. It was a baking hot summer on the island of Sodor. The sun was shining brightly. James and Toby were taking children to the seaside. It was a wonderful job. All the engines liked seeing the children's happy faces, and they loved hearing them cheer when they saw the sea. It was a windy day on the island of Sodor. Trees were blown, leaves were scattered, and Sir Topham Hatt's hat flew away. The engines were looking forward to the annual Sodor Flower Show. At Tidmouth Sheds, Sir Topham Hatt had news of an important special delivery.